How are you, my dear students? I am Mr. Mohammed Albadry, teaching grade 11 bilingual. Welcome to our private school Tabarak. From our educational platform, we have to thank our chairman, Mr. Yunus Rahbi, who gives us this wonderful opportunity to contact with our dear students. And we are going to study together the second lesson of trigonometric unit is solving trigonometric equations. And we know trigonometric equations, any equation has a degree. So maybe we'll have first degree or has a degree. So maybe we'll have first degree or second degree. So before studying this, we have to know the degree of the equation which we are going to solve it. So now we have to know the directions. We have positive direction, first, second, third, and fourth quadrants. In the first quadrant, theta is acute. In the second quadrant, theta is obtuse angle. It will be 180 minus the acute angle, which we will know how could we find it. And in the third know how could we find it. And in the third quadrant, it will be 180 plus the angle, and in the fourth quadrant 360 minus the angle, which we are going to find it. And these four relations to know how could we find the reference angle in the positive direction, and in the negative direction, which is clockwise, like what we have here. And the four relations, the first, it will be negative the difference between 360 and the angle, and in the second, negative the sum of 180 plus the angle, and in the third, negative the sum of 180 plus the angle, and in the third, it will be negative the difference between 180 and the angle, which we will have it. And in the fourth quadrant will be negative the acute angle, which we will have it here to find the reference angles in the negative directions. And in the first semester we studied the ratios and the sign of the ratios in each quadrant. We know that in the first quadrant all ratios are positive, and in the second quadrant only sign is positive, and in the third only sign is positive, and in the third quadrant only tan is positive, and in the fourth quadrant only cosine. So we can know it in a statement which is add sugar to coffee to know the positive signs of the ratios. And here we are going to use Pythagoras theorem to find the hypotenuse. We have to add the squares of the legs of the right angle. If we need to find any leg of the right angle, we have to find the difference between the hypotenuse and the square of the other leg. Okay, again, to find the hypotenuse we have to add the squares of the two legs, the length of the two legs. And if we need to find the length of the leg, it will be the difference between the square of the hypotenuse minus the square of the other leg. Now we are going to take an exercise 16C, page 276, number 4G. Find the value of theta from theta equals 0 degree to 360 degree inclusive, which satisfy the relation of cosine theta plus 60 equals 0.5. Firstly, here we have cosine from the first degree because we don't have cosine square or cosine power 3. So here we have a linear equation, and we don't have anything with cosine here. It's only cosine or 2 cosine or 3 cosine, and we don't have cosine plus something or minus something, so it's only cosine. So we don't need to simplify it. So directly, if you want to find the answer, we have cosine theta plus 60 equals 0.5. To find the angle, we are going to use shift cosine 0.5. So we have to know the sign of cosine theta. Cosine is positive in the first and in the fourth quadrants. So we are going to solve it in the first quadrant and in the fourth quadrant. We have here theta plus 60, so it becomes theta plus 60 equals to 60, and theta equals 60 minus 60 to solve it, so theta equals 0 degree. And in the fourth quadrant, theta plus 60 equals 360 minus 60, so theta plus 60 equals 300, so theta equals 300 minus 60 equals to 240. Okay, so here in idea we have to know what is the sign of the ratio we have to know which quadrant we are going to solve in. Here we cannot solve in the second and in the third quadrants because the sign of the relation we have here is positive 0.5. So cosine is positive in the first and in the fourth quadrants. So theta equals 0 degree and theta equal 240. Now we are going to the next exercise 16C, page 276, number 5e. For theta greater than 0, smaller than 2 pi, 16C, page 276, number 5e. For theta greater than 0, smaller than 2 pi, solve square root of 3 cosine theta plus 1 equal to 0. And to solve it, we have to move positive 1 to the right side will be negative 1, and after that divided by square root of 3 becomes cosine theta equals 1 over radical 3. And to find theta, we have to put it in the calculator in the steps of shift cosine 1 over radical 3, not negative 1 over radical 3. Again, we have to put it cosine theta equals 1 over radical 3 without negative equals 1 over radical 3 without negative to find the acute angle, and after that we will have it theta equals 0.95 in radians, not in the degrees. Why in radians? Because we have in the equations radians, not degrees. So now here in the second quadrant cosine is positive, so it will be pi minus 0.95, it will be 2.19, and in the third quadrant theta equals pi plus 0.95, it will be theta equal 4.10, and now theta equal 2.19 and 4.10 in radians measure. Now for the homework, it will be exercise 16C, page 276, number 7, D, E, and F. Exercise 16C, page 276, number 5, D. And I hope you enjoy with our new lesson. Please study it hard, it's very important lesson. Thank you for your listening, and see you in next lesson. In the quadrant. Thank you. Bye.